The Steelers will either look like geniuses or imbeciles for trading George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys for a third-round pick. The morning that trade happened, we got Jason Garrett, the former Cowboys coach, on PFT Live to give his reaction, and he provided a take that I haven't seen or heard anywhere else. But to be candid, I don't spend a lot of my time looking and listening to what others have to say. Number one, it's all I can do to listen to myself. Number two, I never want to be accused of stealing someone else's take. And number three, I just don't really care what other people think. I care what I think. Okay, but Garrett's take that I have yet to see or hear anywhere else, with the caveat previously mentioned, is that Dak Prescott is going to be the key person in the relationship between George Pickens and the Dallas Cowboys. And when you think about it, Pickens has never had a high-end quarterback. He arrived the year after Ben Roethlisberger retired. So he had Kenny Pickett for 2 years, and we know how that went. And last year he had the Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, adequate but not great combination. Pickens has shown that he's got high-end skills. And when you see what Dak Prescott is saying about Pickens, it really makes me wonder, have we finally reached the point where a Steelers receiver who was disgruntled in Pittsburgh, who goes elsewhere, actually does better elsewhere than he did in Pittsburgh? The usual approach is guy that was pretty good, if not great, in Pittsburgh. Once it ends there and he goes elsewhere, it really doesn't. It doesn't pan out. For the guys who were, disgruntled in some way. Here's what Dak Prescott recently said via DallasCowboys.com about Pickens. Go turn on his tape. He's getting separation. He's got separation even when he's not getting the ball at times. And when he doesn't have separation, he's still making the catches. It's not going to be hard. For me, it's about getting the ball near that guy, and he will be George Pickens. Go turn on the tape. He's great at doing it. Yes. It's become very popular to crap on George Pickens. But if you watch him play, and I've been saying this for years, he's the guy who's open when he's not open. He's the guy who will contort his body in midair to make the contested catch. And he can get separation. They just didn't use him enough. That's the great irony, if I'm using the word properly, and again, I never know, in the Steelers paying $30 million a year to DK Metcalf, a guy who was never used properly by the Seahawks. The Steelers are bringing to town a guy who was never used properly by his longtime team to replace a guy that they didn't know how to use properly, and it begs the question, will they know how to use DK Metcalf properly? And will the Cowboys use George Pickens properly? And will he benefit from extra attention paid to CD Lamb? And then when Pickens starts making the highlight reel catches, will they rotate the coverage toward him? And then CD Lamb starts going off. Look, I don't know what the Cowboys are going to be this year. I'd feel better about them if they had a better running game, frankly. And I feel like from a talent standpoint, they're not good enough to compete with the Eagles and the Commanders. But they may be onto something with George Pickens. And it's a fascinating Steelers-Cowboys unofficial rivalry. Did the Steelers get it really wrong? Did the Cowboys get it really right? And what's it going to look like this year for the Cowboys and for the Steelers? Because everything that Pickens is doing this year for the Cowboys, he could have been doing with DK Metcalf drawing double coverage and Pickens on the other side. It still would have been very awkward because he's in a contract year, but he embraced the reality that he's in a contract year in Dallas and CeeDee Lamb's WR1, and Pickens has to just take what he can get. And will Prescott get him in that sweet spot where he takes what he can get, makes the most of it, and sets himself up for a big contract next year with the Cowboys or someone else? Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.